Hello YouTube, my name is Plazukas. I was gonna make this video before the Morgrens event, but I decided not to because I really didn't know how to talk about it. But then I was on my iPad playing the game and I saw an ad for the emulator, for the actual Moo emulator or BlueStacks emulator on my iPad saying it's the best way to play Destiny. And then I was thinking, all the events that have happened in Destiny Horizon, at least post launch, there was a certain time when the Asia server used to get content before the NA server. But now the NA server is the time when all these events basically start, whether it be day one gauntlet race, whether it be Morgan's event, or anything in the future. Apparently, it's going to be based on the reset time or shortly thereafter of the NA reset time. And this got me thinking that although they may never do a PC client, if they're trying to cater because maybe it's not popular in China or the Asia market, which is a very huge market to appeal to and one that mobile games succeed or fail in, then they're going to have to make decisions that are, specific to the North American audience. And that would include Steam. That would include PC. I think if they are going to pivot at some point in time, whether they have before, they saw the signs, they knew that the pre-registrations or that the interest was mostly in America, or they're realizing that now and they're going to ramp up development potentially on a port for the PC client. I don't think they can continue this trajectory unless, of course, it just miraculously, which I don't think it has. I don't even think on the Asia server that they have met the 400,000 completions for the Gauntlet Eclipse, which is an indicator of the population in that specific area not being as big as the NA version, which has met that goal and has done things that other servers have not accomplished, indicating that NA is the most popular server currently. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to close down the other servers. It doesn't mean that they're going to potentially give us a PC client. But if they're going to cater to the North American audience, then that would be the next natural transition. The problem is this. Are they going to take development time out of their day for new content to do that? Or are they going to give it to somebody else to port it and then subsequently patch it every time there's an update for the mobile version? And then they have to talk to the other person, the other developers, which is going to cost even more money to patch the PC client. If the internal developers actually have not done this already in the time that they've had before release, and if they're going to do it, that means that further content potentially could be stalled for that effort to be completed, and they'll just kind of like remarket it, re-release it on Steam, starting all over again for that audience, and kind of like separate in the mobile area. And it might just be a global server in that case, where all the people get to come and experience Destiny from the start. Now, that would be disheartening for me because I've tried to avoid games that have these like NA versions and then these Asia versions, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they have a global version. And apparently, that might be the trajectory of Destiny Horizon. This may actually be a pre-launch, I don't know, a pre-regional area release, and they could potentially do something different in the future for their official, PC launch system. Will I still be there day one for that specific product? Yes, but I will be a bit disappointed if that is the case because of how much time and time mostly I've invested into Destiny Horizon as of now. And clearly with new knowledge and a new appreciation for the game, could I come back and play something like the Steam client that has global servers that everyone can play on and that we can all have this one cohesive experience with all the social features inside the game? Yes, but to do this whole entire cadence of a month-long thing that we've been dealing with, and potentially the time gates that are going to be in place again in the beginning of the game service in like a year, by the end of the year of next year, 2026, I don't know. I don't know how much motivation I would have at that point and then to know all the content releases that comes after, and maybe how long we have to wait for those as well, is going to be an issue. And to know that my initial account, the one I'm currently been playing, is basically dead on arrival because everybody will transition over to the Steam client and the global servers. I hope that's not the case. If anything, I hope the Steam version does integrate the mobile ecosystem, and that, essentially they can find a way to keep all these people that are progressed to a certain point, and also bring in new players through a new player experience or something to catch up, which doesn't sound like it's possible. Doesn't sound like that's the way they're going to go. So on one end, I don't know if there'll ever be a PC release, but if they're catering to the NA demographic, they have to release on PC. It is not popular. Mobile games are not as popular. Mobile devices are not as popular in NA as they are in other regions. Period. Yes, emulation is a half measure, and I would say it's fine. Like, it's a fine half measure, but there are plenty of Destiny 2 players that have not transitioned over to Destiny Rising. Now, that could be just because of the gacha mechanics. They find this game to be inferior to some extent, or they might be suggesting that it's easier and therefore it doesn't demand the same level of respect or attention that something like D2, which is the original developers and the complexity of that game. And if they were to go to PC, would they increase the difficulty, especially if it got reset and had global servers? Would they actually reimagine what it means to do gauntlets and raids inside of Destiny Rising, and maybe even some of the gacha mechanics if they had to start over? This is just more of a train of thought for me, and I wanted to make this video specifically about the fact that I do think that Destiny Rising is catering towards the North American audience, and I think that might indicate some stuff in the future, including potentially a PC launch. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.